Okay, well, to my audience, this is Frank Battaglia, and it's something that I wanted to do earlier on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, but the thought kind of left me at the time. Now, everybody's familiar with a complaint that was put against me by Miss Charisma Saram. And in the complaint, I think you know the details, that I've threatened her, that I've called her a whore and a prostitute, that she's got depression and PTSD and needed to see a counselor. As many have figured out, this was an act of revenge, or to enact revenge upon me for getting Barry discovered by immigration for his overstay and for putting a case against him, cyber libel case, which he has been convicted of the crime and is now in Bilibid, previously in Mandawi Detention Center, and then Uzbekistan for 1 month, and now a transfer to Bilibid until he actually pays the court the fines, pays damages to me, and also takes care of his back immigration fees and penalties. Now, as you know, because of Miss Saram's complaints, I have a hold order on me, and there's an administrative hold order that does not allow me to be able to renew my visa and against my will as a result of this report. Now, all of you are familiar with this, and even after my show, and I'm going to leave this on, I'd like to hear from my viewers. Tell me if you have ever heard anything in her complaint that I've ever actually done, and I'm not going to try to coerce you into anything. Give your honest opinion, and you've been listening to my show for a long time, and you seem to know just about everything that's going on here. I want to set the record straight here, period, with my viewers, and I don't care if you have something against me, just tell the truth. When has anyone ever heard me threaten Miss Saram's life? When has anyone ever heard me call her a whore or a prostitute? And do you think that Miss Saram has any reason to fear me for any reason whatsoever other than possible legal matters as a result of her filing this complaint against me? I want to hear from you guys. Nobody's going to attack you on here. Don't worry about trolls. Now, you could write me personally at frankinhawaii54@yahoo.com. You can also do that too. So, basically, I want to tackle this matter besides what me and my attorneys are doing behind the scenes. And I want to get this matter out public, and I want my viewers to be honest. Have you ever heard me threaten Miss Saram's life? Have you ever heard me call her a whore or a prostitute? Have you ever even heard me even get into much of an engagement with her of such words publicly here on YouTube? Now, everybody's familiar with Barry Lee Jordan. That's the girlfriend of Miss Saram. A lot of people know and think the way I do, that it was a act of revenge to get even with me because her boyfriend was incarcerated and facing charges. Now, I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth on here. You don't have to make any kind of a reaction to what I'm talking about right here on my live. You can do that afterwards. I'll leave this on. I wanted to actually address this morning. And I think we're at a point now where I think we all have to come out and say, hey, enough is enough. It's one thing not to like somebody on YouTube. That's okay. You have the right to do that. But when you want to cause damage to somebody's life who doesn't deserve it, That's a whole nother thing. Nobody has to like you in your personal life or even on YouTube. But attacking somebody in that way, attacking somebody's character, and creating a false complaint to the Department of Immigration is uncalled for, an invalid report with no real proof, just her words, a Filipina, against mine, a foreigner. And some people use that as a tool. And indeed, that's exactly what's going on. Now, I've pretty much ascertained that she was enticed into making this report. Convinced, enticed, and whatever else was involved with her doing this report. It didn't just come from her boyfriend, although he was the denominator in this whole thing, because he was upset that he got incarcerated for committing the crimes he did. He is a convicted felon now. That's exactly what Mr. Barry Lee Jordan is. If you're going to lie on an affidavit like Miss Saram did, and she certainly did, she has to take on some responsibility to what she had written up. There's no question about that. She has to be examined for what she wrote. Now, of course, my attorneys have definitely addressed this situation very well, in fact. It's one thing to be upset that your boyfriend is incarcerated. It's one thing not to like a certain YouTuber, say myself, for whatever personal reasons that you have. But to get involved with a caper like this, whoever is also involved with this complaint to the Department of Immigration against me because of personal vengeance, could have a backflow of events as a result of that. Keep that in mind. You could write me personally at frankinhawaii54@yahoo.com. And later on, you could post comments on my channel. It'll be open. I will keep this on. Because we're going to get to the bottom of this matter one way or the other. For those people brave enough to say, yes, I've been following you on your YouTube channel a long time. I've listened to everything Barry said. I listened to everything his girlfriend said. And that complaint was publicly, not by me, put on YouTube, which was really a violation of privacy, which she should never have done. Her boyfriend should have never have done. And it should not have been given out publicly to anyone. Those type of reports are with privacy and are meant only for the eyes of attorneys or people involved. They're not meant to be put out on YouTube, which they were. There's a real injustice being done here because of revenge. Of course, we're going to hope that the Department of Immigration sees it that way, and we're going to make sure that they do. Well, the questions I'm going to be asking on here, and I want totally honesty. If you don't agree with me, don't agree with me. I know what the true answers are. Have you ever heard me ever threaten Miss Saram's life? Have you ever heard me use the words that she's a whore or a prostitute? Have you ever seen any kind of depression with her at all that she claims in her statement to the Department of Immigration that she's all depressed because of all the things I supposedly did to her, which just doesn't exist? Have you ever heard me say anything? Have you ever heard me threaten her life? These are important things to ask to my public. Yes, I understand that she was backed with money on this, of course. I know that already. Because of other YouTubers who, whatever their personal reasons are, don't like another YouTuber, being me. And they got to the degree that it gets so bad that they had to find the perfect person, a Filipina, not an American, not any other country, just a Filipina who would bear more weight on a complaint if it was made against a foreigner. So what I'm going to be asking my viewers is very direct. Oh, we've addressed all these allegations, my attorneys. Of course we have, and continually will. They are coaching her, and Big Ego and Drew want another baby mama. Okay, we're not into games and jokes on here. I'm asking a direct question, and I will leave this show on after I'm done. And I give full permission to anybody who wants to answer these questions, which are really important. Put whatever gripes you may have about me on the side, and let's get to the facts of this particular situation. Have you ever heard me call her a whore or a prostitute? Have you ever heard me call Miss Charisma Saram anything that's life-threatening or should instill fear in her other than any possible legal matters? That's the kind of questions I'm asking, and that's the kind of answers I want from my viewers. And don't be afraid to answer. Hugo Stiglitz says, I never heard any of that. Anybody else who's willing to state, and quite honestly, not for support of my channel, not even support of me, just total honesty, because those are part of the allegations she made in her report. Now, I understand where a woman wants to favor her boyfriend, doesn't want to see him in jail. I understand all that. It goes along with the relationship. You want to see him out of jail, but things that he's done to deserve being in jail or have charges against him. It's how somebody reacts to that, and this was pretty bad. Pretty bad. That you're actually going to make a report to the Department of Immigration to try to get somebody deported based on being disgruntled, based on being upset about what's going on with your boyfriend, based on people pressuring you to do such a report and giving financial backup to do it, some sort of enticement to do so. These are the questions that we're going to address on here on my show. And as I said, don't be afraid to offer your opinion. It's just an opinion. And don't lie. If you've been following me for a long time, and a lot of people have, and you've heard her, and you know what's been going on with Barry, and you have an understanding of why she would do something like this, just say, I understand. Be completely honest and say, if you ever really heard me threaten her life, other than the possibility of a legal matter, have I ever threatened her or her family? Ever? Does she have something to worry about with me? That she's claiming that she was too scared to go out? A person that I've never met personally, physically? But yet she goes out with her friends. She's seemingly having a wonderful time. That does not seem depressed, does not look like she has PTSD. Who's even done videos on there where she's dancing under a red trellis with some kind of a caption on there that life is great and something like that. And happened after the report. After the report. Now, it's obviously she is lying. I mean, it's obvious to me because I know whether I did or said something. So I'm just giving my viewers an opportunity. I want to review what my viewers have actually heard. As I said, be completely honest about it. I have absolutely nothing to hide. But I just wanted to review this. I was going to do this morning and kind of really get into it. But then I got kind of crossed over with other topic matter and so forth. Yeah. Professor says you never threatened her life. It sounded like a legal threat to me. Yeah, admittance of that because of a report, but it's not a threat, and I don't look at it as a threat when it comes to something legal. It was a statement, not to be made as a threat. I just want to differentiate between the two. But thank you for your statement, Professor. Anybody else who wants to kind of hone in on this, please do. It's your opportunity. Sometimes I think enough is enough. I've always was under the thought that if you don't like somebody's channel, what they have to say, just tune out. Watch somebody else. But I understand the bond that a woman might have to her boyfriend, no matter how much you question the relationship and why she's with him. It's her bond to him, and I understand the alliance. I understand the loyalty. But however, when you perjure yourself in such a way, by making a statement of such to the Board of Immigration to try and get a man, a family man, who has not committed any crimes, to be deported from this country simply because you're upset that your boyfriend is in jail and that I had something to do with it. And rightfully so I did. He was charged on 5 counts. He pleaded guilty for 5 counts of cyber libel crime. Judgment was made on him from his admittance and is ordered to pay the court a said amount of money, ordered to pay me a said amount of money, has to pay his other fees involved with immigration for almost 7 years. Disgruntled, perhaps she is, but she's also been enticed. Well, that is my personal belief. There's been a certain amount of enticement going on with this. Or I don't believe that she would ever put that report in. Trying to ruin a man's life because of a boyfriend that she knows she has no future with, but nevertheless she was honorable to him. And she had a little help along the way to get the lawyer hired for her to write this up, obviously so, and probably had other financial backing on there to entice her. Now, that is my opinion. In what order that is, I don't know, but that's my opinion. Anyway, I will leave this broadcast up here. I won't delete it. And I'd like to hear from you. Don't be shy about it. I want to hear what you people think about this. And you know what the questions are. I'll repeat them again. Have you ever heard me threaten Miss Charisma Saram's life? Have you ever heard me call her a whore or a prostitute? Those are some of the elements that's in her complaint. Now, I want to remind my audience this is not a case, but it's a complaint. There were other elements in her complaint that me, of course, and my attorneys have gone over, and none of it is relevant, valid, or makes any sense at all. And I've read that report numerous times, of course. And of course, my attorneys have addressed these issues, as we continually are and will. Is being upset a proper factor to try to write up a totally bogus report to the Department of Immigration on a foreigner because you're unhappy what's happening with your boyfriend? That's not right. You got to understand that with Mr. Barry Lee Jordan, who is presently incarcerated, has been for the past 2 years, 1 month or so, what he did to himself by not obeying the rules of the immigration laws of almost 7 years of overstay, by getting on public media, social media, such as this format, which is YouTube, and calling an innocent man a child predator and a pedophile and making threats to his life. Personally, I don't know how any woman would want to support that kind of behavior. That's my opinion. Of revenge, and because of any possible enticement that might have been involved with this, she most certainly did put in a complaint against me. We all know it's wrong, and every wrong needs a remedy, and that's exactly what I plan to do on this. Okay, this time of day we don't have a shitload of viewers on here, excuse my French, but you're certainly welcome to write me, or just right here on this show, while I'm on, or after I get off this broadcast. Just say a sentence. No, I never heard you threaten her. No, I never heard you call her a whore or a prostitute. Spell it out. And all the things that were made public, which should have been. Her report was supposed to be private, not for YouTube and all the world to read her affidavit, which indeed they did put on YouTube. And I think there might be something illegal with that too. Besides not being right, I don't think it's legal. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not legal. The complaint material is between me and her, and she's the author of this complaint, and it should be between me and her and lawyers, not to be posted to her boyfriend to post it on YouTube like he did or anybody else. That was wrong alone right there. There are ways of dealing with people on here that you don't like, and unfortunately on social media, there's a lot of people that are at their wits' end with other YouTubers, other vloggers. But the remedy for that is not to tune in and watch their shows. That's a remedy right there. And everybody has that choice. That's inclusive of myself. So that's the questions, and I'd like you to answer it honestly. And we have 19 people watching, 20 people watching, so do answer that question. Questions, actually. Do you have any belief in her report at all? And why do you not have any belief in that report? What discrepancies have you actually found in her report? And the two most popular ones are, of course, that I'm threatening to her in some way, physically, emotionally, that I've destroyed her emotions because of my actions against her boyfriend, Barry Lee Jordan. Have you seen her since that report going on with her life like nothing ever happened? Seen her having a good time with her family, with her friends. No, we're not trying to coerce her to do anything. I'm just asking for opinions from my viewers. No, she's not going to drop the complaint. And that's not what we're after here. It's a done deal. The damage is done, as far as I'm concerned. No, she's not going to drop the complaint. But when the facts are all out, she's going to wish that she did. Legally, of course. Nobody's ever threatened her life, ever. Never even met the woman. It's kind of a grandiose attempt and effort to try to destroy somebody's life because of her allegiance to her boyfriend. And of course, the people that were behind the scenes behind her that were offering her the money for a lawyer, any kind of enticement, perhaps beyond that, that might have happened to influence her, possibly. Pay her. Pay her what? I don't work that way. I'm not paying anybody to drop a complaint. That would be an admittance of guilt. I'm not guilty here on this. Pay her. I wouldn't pay her anything. Kind of lame statement. Okay, just leave your thoughts on here. I'll check later on. I'll leave this broadcast on. Today, 19th day of May, 2025. And of course, this is Frank Battaglia, or Battaglia, who is on this complaint. An unrighteous, invalid, unfair, vicious, revengeful complaint that holds no bearing, that holds no truth. Look, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. If I was guilty of doing that stuff, I could certainly understand. But since I'm not, I will speak up about it, and I have been for a long time. Okay, I gotta go, but I will catch you guys later. I just want to put this out there. If somebody is not guilty of something, they're not worried, and I'm not worried. Because one way or the other, we will prove that she is being a lot less than honest. And the real reasons of why she put that complaint in. Or what would drive somebody to do that? To have this on their conscience. Just to satisfy the needs of a boyfriend who's incarcerated. And where she feels that I'm responsible for doing it, when the fact is, Mr. Barry Lee Jordan is responsible for everything that happened to him. Mr. Barry Lee Jordan should not have came on public media as often as he did on a daily basis, calling me a child molester, a predator, a chomo, threatening my life, and doing it consistently and persistently. That's why he was taken to court, and he lost. He admitted his guilt, and now, one way or the other, he's paying the price for it. Someone has to put blame somewhere. That's how it works. But watch what you're doing. It may come back. It may come back on you. I've never threatened her life. No intent to ever threaten her life. I never even met the woman. Whether I like the woman or not has no bearing on this matter at all. Whether her choices of who she wants to date, I think, was a terrible choice, by my own opinion, and understanding why really has no bearing on this at all. People have to make their own mistakes. But you don't go on the attack of somebody like that. No matter how much you don't like them, the same as Barry Jordan. You should never ever call somebody a child predator. At all. It's one of the worst things somebody could do to an innocent man. And expect good results from doing that? I don't think so. The same thing as filing a false report. It has its ramifications at some point. Okay, with that being said, pay her? That's a pretty lame statement right there, Professor. Which I'll have to remove that statement because I think it's actually pretty lame. And I think it's, under the circumstance, I think that's pretty insulting to me. I'm not going to block you, but I'm removing your comment because it was a lame statement to make. Okay, I gotta go. I'm watching a movie actually. I took a little time off to do so. I wanted to talk about this earlier when I did my last show this morning. If you feel it's wrong what she did, say it. And why? Again, I repeat, have you ever heard me call her a whore and a prostitute? Have you ever heard me threatening her life or her family? Does she have reason to fear me in a physical way other than a legal matter? That's all I want to hear from you. Look, Professor, I'm not trying to convince Miss Saram to drop her complaint. I want to get that straight with you, and I can't get it through your head. The deed is done. The damage is done. I'm just asking from my viewers who have heard this, has been following me, Barry, and otherwise, and her for a long time. Just an honest opinion on all of the above questions or things that I brought up on here. That's okay. I just want to get the language straight on here. Okay, I gotta go, but I'm gonna leave the comment section on here. Give me your opinion. Leave your comments, whether it's short or in detail.